Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Monuments Man. Today we're going to be covering the 148th Pennsylvania. The 148th was mustered into service on September 8, 1862, and served in numerous engagements, including, but not limited to, Chancellorsville, Gettysburg, the Wilderness, Spotsylvania Courthouse, Cold Harbor, and Petersburg. They have two monuments here at Gettysburg, one in the wheat field on the west side of Ayres Avenue, and a position marker on Hancock Avenue. The 148th's commander for most of the war was Colonel James A. Beaver. James Adams Beaver was born on October 21, 1837, in Millerstown, Pennsylvania. He graduated from Jefferson College, now Washington and Jefferson College, in 1856. Soon after, he was taken into a law partnership by H.N. McAllister. During his stint at McAllister's office, he joined a local militia company, nicknamed the Bellefonte Fencibles, under Captain Andrew G. Curtin, who would later be the governor of Pennsylvania during the war. When the war began, he was initially commissioned as a second lieutenant in the 2nd Pennsylvania Volunteers, one of the 3-month regiments raised at the start of the war. He also had a younger brother named Jacob, who enlisted as a lieutenant in the 51st Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, Jacob was killed in action at the Battle of Antietam during the attack on Burnside Bridge. James Beaver quickly rose through the ranks, and upon the mustering of the 148th Pennsylvania, he was quickly made their colonel. He was wounded 4 times during the war, the most significant of which was during the Battle of Reams Station, where a minie-ball shattered his right leg, which thusly required amputation. After the war, he returned to his law practice and married Mary McAllister, the daughter of his law firm partner. Together, they had 5 sons. He would also follow in the footsteps of his former militia captain and became governor of Pennsylvania from 1887 to 1891. He would also serve on the board of directors and eventually as the president of Pennsylvania State University. Due to his tenure at the university, he serves as the namesake of Beaver Stadium and Beaver Hall on the campus, and Beaver Avenue in State College. On June 29th, during the 2nd Corps march to Gettysburg, the path they were taking had them cross a stream near Frederick, Maryland. Corporal George Duffy of the 148th complained about his uniform getting wet. Upon hearing this, Brigade Commander Colonel Edward Cross whacked him on the neck with the flat of his sword. On June 30th, due to Colonel Beaver being on sick leave, Colonel Cross made an unusual decision regarding the 148th's commanding officer, in that he replaced Lieutenant Colonel Robert McFarland with Colonel Henry McKean of the 81st Pennsylvania. The reason for this decision is that the 148th represented almost half of Cross's total strength, standing at 468 strong, and since Cross suspected a large battle was coming, he wanted the 148th to have an experienced commander who he knew he could count on. The officers and men of the 148th saw things very differently, though, and saw Cross's replacement of McFarland as a slight they would never forgive. They arrived on the field on July 2nd, a few hours after dawn with the rest of the 2nd Corps. General John C. Caldwell moved his division into the Wheatfield and Trossel's Woods via Wheatfield Road. Cross's 1st Brigade filed right on Wheatfield Road and positioned themselves along the fence on the north end of the Wheatfield. Cross then turned his regiments left, so they faced directly at the Wheatfield. While his men took their positions, 2 officers arrived and informed him that the enemy is breaking in directly on your right. Strike him quick. Cross then ordered his brigade to advance into the Wheatfield. The 148th marched on the right of the 5th New Hampshire and the left of the 81st Pennsylvania. The left half of their regiment marched in the woods east of the Wheatfield, and the right half marched in the Wheatfield itself. Colonel Cross was killed near the start of the brigade's advance. Colonel McKean took over command of the brigade and continued their attack on General George T. Anderson's Georgia Brigade. 3 companies of the 148th now joined the rest of the brigade and threatened Anderson's front, while the 7 in the woods drove back his right flank and forced them to retreat through Rose's woods. Later in the day, the 148th supported a charge made by the brigades of John Brooke, Samuel Zook, and Patrick Kelly, which swept Anderson's men completely out of Rose's woods. On the third day, they were moved to the Union line along where Hancock Avenue is today, and they assisted in repelling Pickett's charge. Throughout their engagement during the battle, they suffered 2 officers and 25 men killed or dead of wounds, 5 officers and 88 men wounded, and 5 men captured or missing, for a total of 125 casualties. Now to the monuments. The primary monument is located on Ayres Avenue, just south of the wheat field, and was dedicated on September 11, 1889. It was sculpted by Eisenbrown and Sons and stands 14 feet 3 inches tall. The monument is topped with a carving of military equipment, including a rifle, canteen, knapsack, and drum. All 4 sides are decorated with an engraving of a clover between 2 columns. The clover was the corps badge of the 2nd Corps. The front of the structure has a bronze depiction of the coat of arms of Pennsylvania. The front also states the name of the regiment and the respective brigade, division, and corps it was attached to during the battle. The left side explains what the 148th did during the battle, as well as their strength at Gettysburg and the number of casualties they suffered. The right side states which counties they were recruited out of, the dates on which they were mustered in and out, as well as their total wartime enrollment and casualties. The rear of the monument lists the various major engagements the 148th was involved with. Similar to most regiments with 2 monuments at Gettysburg, their second monument is a marker for their position on July 3rd. However, unlike most other markers, this one is made out of granite, not bronze, and was placed in 1901. The text on the marker reads, 148th Regiment, Pennsylvania Infantry, 1st Brigade, 1st Division, 2nd Corps, occupied this position July 3rd, 1863. Now let's move on to the 148th's regimental history. The 148th Pennsylvania was mustered in on September 8, 1862, under Colonel James Beaver. From September 9th through 10th, they were moved to Cockeysville, Maryland, and performed guard duty on the Northern Central Railway. On December 9th, they were assigned to the defenses of Baltimore as part of the 8th Corps Middle Department. Ironically, immediately after their assignment to Baltimore, they would be transferred to Falmouth, Virginia, and assigned to the 2nd Corps Army of the Potomac. The 148th didn't see any action for nearly the first 4 months of 1863. However, their first engagement would be a true baptism of fire, at none other than Chancellorsville. During the battle, the 148th suffered 31 killed, 119 wounded, and 14 missing. Colonel Beaver was one of the wounded. This high casualty rate and significant role in a major battle would define the 148th for the rest of the war. On June 14th, the Gettysburg campaign began. On June 25th, they participated in a skirmish near Haymarket, Virginia. The combatants of this skirmish included 5,000 Confederate cavalry, led by Jeb Stuart, and the Union 2nd Corps under Winfield Scott Hancock. From July 2nd through 3rd, they participated in the Battle of Gettysburg, and just like Chancellorsville before, suffered heavy casualties. From July 5th through 24th, the 148th was active in Meade's pursuit of Lee. From August 31st to September 4th, they went on an expedition to Port Conway, Virginia. From September 13th through 17th, they advanced from the Rappahannock to the Rapidan. From October 9th through 22nd, they fought in the Bristow Campaign. After a month-long respite from fighting, they fought in the Mine Run Campaign from November 26th to December 2nd. To start the new year 1864, from February to May, they were given duty near Stevensburg, Virginia. During their stint in Stevensburg, they were attached to the 4th Brigade, 1st Division, 2nd Corps. From May 4th to June 12th, they fought in various engagements of the Overland Campaign. such as the Wilderness, Spotsylvania Courthouse, North Anna River, Totopotomoy, and Cold Harbor. From June 16th to 18th, they participated in the first assault on Petersburg. From June 21st to 23rd, they fought in the Battle of Jerusalem Plank Road. From July 27th through 29th, they partook in a military demonstration on the north side of the James River during the First Battle of Deep Bottom. On July 30th, they were present for, but didn't fight in, the Battle of the Crater. From August 13th to 20th, they partook in another demonstration north of the James during the Second Battle of Deep Bottom. On August 25th, they fought in the Second Battle of Reams Station. From December 9th to 10th, they performed reconnaissance to Hatcher's Run in Dinwiddie County, Virginia. 1 month into 1865, the 148th fought in the Battle of Hatcher's Run. On March 29th, the Appomattox Campaign began, and like the Overland Campaign, they were very active in it, and fought in the battles of White Oak Road on March 31st, Sutherland Station on April 2nd, Sailor's Creek on April 6th, and High Bridge on April 7th. On April 9th, they were present for the surrender of Lee's army. From May 2nd to 12th, they marched to Washington, D.C., and on May 23rd, they marched in the Grand Review of the Armies. 9 days later, on June 1st, 1865, the 148th Pennsylvania was finally mustered out of service near Alexandria, Virginia. Anyways, that's all I have for you on this episode of Monuments Man. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And if there's anything I missed, please let me know in the comments. And with that, this is the Copperhead Historian, signing off.